Denesteline. Today I want to teach you about contingency planning. It's often something that you hear about big companies doing, and you often, if you're applying for a loan at a bank or a feasibility study, they often ask you what are the risks and mitigation strategies that you have, and you kind of fill in some stuff, but often it's the last time you'll ever look at it. Well, as you know, when things really do go wrong, man, you wished you'd had paid more attention to that exercise. So what I'm going to teach you about today is some very simple tools that not only will prepare you for the next virus, for the next election, for the next civil unrest, for the next time you blow out your tire driving down the road. The contingency planning is an actual activity that disciplined executives go through, and it helps make your business stronger. Because most often what happens when something happens to them that's unplanned, they freeze. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want to be a company when something goes wrong, you freeze. What you should do is click into response mode. And response mode is make that phone call, move that over there, change that there, like a general in an army. You've been so disciplined and so trained that when something wrong happens, no problem, I've got this covered. And those are the companies that weather all sorts of global tragedies, local tragedies, unexpected events, because they're strong, they've practiced, and they're disciplined. So I'm going to teach you a very simple tool to help you do this, especially now, right after we've weathered and hopefully gotten through a health crisis globally, but now we're going to be encountering a financial crisis. How do we start planning and become better equipped and stronger so that when these things happen, no problem, I've got this covered. So contingency planning is very simple. First off, what you want to do is you want to list the assets of your company. Assets are human capital, people. They're very important. Coming up with a plan to get people out of a burning building and congregate across the street and call 8035 for Tibito or 911 or whatever the number is that you have to make sure that response is on its way. That's contingency planning. But it doesn't stop there. There's buildings, there's money, there's vehicles, there's machinery, there's inventory, listing all of those assets down on a piece of paper. Next, come up with scenarios of things that could happen to those assets. Just start listing them out. The building could burn. The vehicle could get into an accident. The bank could deny me pulling out my money. The letter of credit could not open. It could be all the way from extremely high impact and high likely to very low impact, low likely. And what you want to do next is you want to evaluate those, prioritize those scenarios of those assets. And I recommend a 2x2 matrix. You do likely, and then you do impact. High likely, high impact. This is where you need to focus your time. Everything else, yes, you want to have plans for those, but right away, you should focus on the things that you're pretty sure are going to happen. Just literally going through that mental exercise is going to open up all sorts of insights into your company. What will happen if I'm supposed to be at a place and that road is shut down, or there's a riot, or I can't get to the factory, or my people are trapped? The impact it would have on your business and the likelihood that it will happen. If it's the likelihood is high and the impact is high, this is where you want to focus the next step, which is then you're going to come up with prepare. What do we do to prepare to mitigate that risk? And then 5, response. When that event, that scenario actually happens, these are scenarios, by the way. You have scenarios here, you have scenarios here, you have scenarios here. These are assets and things that could happen to those assets. Then you map them on this 2x2 matrix to prioritize them. Then you focus on these, and then you come up with a very simple table. Very simple table. You put the scenario here, these ones. The scenario here, you just list them down this row. And then you say the likelihood, the impact, high, high. I told you those are the ones you want to do first. And then you write down, what are we going to do to prepare? And then when the event actually happens, how do we respond? And I've told you this before, most people, when a bad event happens, they react, and the reaction's usually wrong. But if you're trained, if you're skilled like a military Delta force, they're so trained, doesn't matter, they're always responding because they've already thought through that scenario. They've already come up with that, and they know exactly what they're supposed to do. So let's take, for example, our factory burns down. That's an asset, the factory. The scenario is that it's burning down. What do we do? Well, the likelihood, let's pretend that this is a very flammable factory. The likelihood is high, the impact is high to prepare. So you go down with your operations manager and you say, everybody come together. We're in the factory. What do we need to do to prepare for the event that is likely, and it will really impact us, that there's a fire? Somebody raises their hand and goes, well, we should have fire extinguishers. Okay, where are they? We don't have them. Put that on the list. We have to buy those immediately. Send somebody to the store. I'll wait right here, and I'm not going to move until we install those fire extinguishers. Okay, next, what else should we do? Well, we should have numbers on the wall for people to call for the local fire department. Good. I'll stand here and not move until we put those up. Next, what should we do? Well, we should have a backup plan to get people out of the burning building, right? Yes. We should have that plan, the evacuation plan, up on a wall so everybody can see it. Great. I'm not going to move until we get that drawn up on the wall and we train everybody about that. That's preparedness. And then comes the response. And here's the thing. Obviously, you're not going to set your factory on fire. What you will do is you're going to do a fire drill. You're actually going to go through a dry run. A scenario. This is where the magic will happen. You're going to go through an activity where you're going to say, ding, 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 our factory is on fire. What do we do? Boom. And you're actually going to play that out. And what you're going to find out is, well, we didn't see that happen. We need another fire extinguisher over there. As the people were leaving, we realized the door is too small. We need 2 fire exits over there. You blow out those walls and you put in fire doors, and then you put up those signs everywhere else so that when the fire happens, boom, we call that number. 2, we get the people out. 3, we have trained professionals that have already been assigned to go in and start putting out the fires. 4, we call the backup fire department. 5, we call everybody else and make sure that their family knows that they are safe. We do a head count. All of those things will be listed out in your response, and you will have dry run them. And you do that for 2 or 3 a month. You sit down and you come up with these. You come up with the prepared plan, and then you come up with your response plan. You will be stronger, you will be smarter. And next time something happens, no problem. Just like the Delta Force team, you'll click in, you'll respond accordingly, and you'll weather that storm. Good luck. I'm a second.